When we think about AI, our minds usually jump to tech, right? We're thinking code, data, algorithms. But what if the biggest challenge AI presents isn't technical at all? What if it's actually political? That's what we're digging into, and believe me, it completely changes the game. To really get our heads around this, we need a solid compass. And honestly, who better to turn to than Lincoln? His words are a powerful reminder that when things get complicated, it's our principles, not our politics, that should guide us. The big question, though, is, are we actually listening to that advice right now? Because here's the thing, it really doesn't look like we are. Instead of a thoughtful, balanced debate, we've got a full-on war of words. Is AI our ultimate savior, or is it a terrifying scourge? It feels like there's absolutely no room for a middle ground.
And this is where something called political framing comes into play. Just think of it like a camera lens, right? Depending on where you point it, you can tell two totally different stories using the exact same facts. And with AI, we're being shown two very, very different pictures of reality.
This slide, which is based on some fascinating research from the Social Science Computer Review, breaks it down perfectly. So on one side, you have what's called the development frame. This is the story of AI as a force for good, something that's going to drive innovation and economic growth. But on the other side, you've got the crisis frame, which sees AI as a major threat, bringing things like job loss and widespread misinformation. The development side is all about that upside. We're talking about a future where AI could transform our world for the better, creating brand new opportunities, boosting the economy, and maybe even solving some of our biggest problems. It's a really optimistic view.
Whoa. The crisis side, though, it paints a much, much darker picture. From this perspective, AI isn't a tool for progress at all. It's a weapon that enriches a tiny few at the direct expense of pretty much everyone else.
And look, this isn't just some abstract media debate. It's actually shaping how all of us feel about AI. Just check out this YouGov poll. The numbers for cautious, concerned, and skeptical are way, way higher than for hopeful or excited. It seems pretty clear the crisis frame is resonating with a lot of people.
So what's really driving all this fear? It's not just talk. There are some real and frankly pretty startling numbers behind this crisis frame. Let's actually dig into the data a little bit.
Okay, this poll from Quinnipiac University is incredibly telling. It shows this massive divide based on income. If you look at this first bar here, the wealthiest 15% of Americans, they are overwhelmingly positive about AI. But then you look at the second bar for folks earning under $50,000 a year, and it's the complete opposite. They see more harm than good by a 2-to-1 margin.
So why such deep concern? Well, buckle up for this one. McKinsey estimates that by 2030, we are going to need to spend a mind-boggling $6.7 trillion on AI data centers. To give you some perspective on that number, that's more than the entire economy of Japan.
And what about the energy to power all those data centers? Well, the industry is projected to eat up 21% of all global electricity by 2030. That is an unbelievable jump from the 1 or 2% it uses today, which, by the way, is already about as much as the entire airline industry consumes.
And this isn't just some abstract number on a spreadsheet. We're talking about very real-world consequences. Higher electricity bills for you and me, for one, and a massive setback in the fight against climate change. We're literally firing up retired, dirty coal plants again to power this AI revolution.
And beyond the huge environmental toll, sources are pointing to this whole cascade of hidden human costs. Everything from public health crises in the communities near these data centers to some really profound negative impacts on our mental well-being and even our ability to think critically.
But okay, here's the real twist in all this. The ultimate danger might not be about whether the development frame or the crisis frame is right. The real underlying problem is the battle itself.
Because think about it. When we're so busy fighting each other, who's actually steering the ship? When AI becomes just another political football to be kicked around, we lose our chance to shape it for the better. We risk a future where this technology just makes inequality worse, all because we couldn't agree on the basic rules of the road.
As Micah Gaudy argues in his analysis, this politicization has 3 really clear consequences. First, we lose our balance, just swinging wildly between over-the-top hype and paralyzing fear. Second, public trust gets corroded because we're all just arguing about caricatures instead of the real, messy trade-offs. And third, we waste precious time and resources just fighting each other instead of building a better future.
So the bottom line is this. The whole conversation stops being about how do we govern AI responsibly, and it just turns into how do I win this argument? And that right there is a really dangerous place for us to be.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most difficult part of this whole story. Trying to find a way forward, a path out of these trenches we've dug.
So, where do we possibly go from here? Well, the first step is to ask a really simple but also really profound question. Is AI itself political? I mean, does a large language model have a party preference?
And the answer, of course, is no. And that is the absolute key. AI is a tool. It's just like a hammer. You can use a hammer to build a beautiful house, or you can use it to smash one to pieces. The choice is ours. The future of AI isn't being written in code. It's being written in the rules we create to governing. So how do we get there? The proposed path forward is civility. And not civility as some kind of weakness, but as a real strength. It means moving past judgment and starting to ask the really tough questions. Who benefits from this? Who gets left behind? And what are we, together, going to do about it?
And just like that, we're right back where we started. The future of AI really isn't about the technology. It's about us. It's about whether we can find a way to choose principle over partisanship. The stakes are just way too high to let this become another political battleground. The future of AI is in our hands. The real question is, what are we going to build with it?